Alright, good afternoon. My name is Andre and I work at the Harmony Center. It is a dojo, a martial arts center, and it's a kids after school program. And every day I go there, I always see students playing around in their own little groups. And there's always this one kid, his name is Ethan. I pressed it. His name is Ethan, and he's always sitting alone by himself doing nothing. One day I see him crying, so I went up to him and I asked him what's wrong. And he was sad that no one would ever play with him. So for about half an hour I played with him, got to know his interests and stuff, and I found out that he was a huge fan of a game called Minecraft. And I knew some other kids, they loved that game. So I introduced him to some of the other students. His name's Brian and Hamza. You see in the picture, now every day I go to the dojo and they're always playing together, and it just makes me feel better that they're friends. Now, how many of you have younger brothers, sisters, sons, or daughters? Hands up. And how would you feel if they came home bawling their eyes out that they have no one to play with at recess, they're always doing their own thing? It would make you feel pretty bad, right? That's the problem we're going to tackle today.
Okay, so like Andre touched upon before, it is often, like we see this in other institutions other than daycares, but we see this in schools, we see this in high schools, even in post-secondary schools, of kids or adolescents being isolated because of maybe differences or for other reasons. Children that are usually isolated or excluded from certain things or from certain groups often feel like they do not have the ability to reach out to people of higher authority or to even other children to help themselves. Children that are isolated in these types of ways, sometimes this can result in mental illnesses of any kind, whether that be depression, anxiety, or social stress. And so what our program is targeted towards for children so that we can help them in their society and being able to adapt in their social behaviors towards other people. One of the main problems with this cause is that even children as small as the boy that Andre has in his program, they do not have the means to go out themselves to go and ask for help. And so it's up to the teachers or the people in charge, people of higher authority, to be able to take over and to help them. But it is with the people that they have the lack of knowledge or the lack of the ability to go out to reach out and to help them. Long-term effects of this isolation or these problems that these children face would be higher levels of stress, high blood pressure, which is not good for the child physically, and this increases risk of depression, social stress, and anxiety, which is not good for their mental health. And so we are targeting that challenge.
Now is the solution. To make it short and concise, we want to make a 5-day program, kind of like driving school. Maybe we'll rent out a hall or maybe a classroom where a professor will teach teachers or maybe camp counselors or something like that how to work with kids and how to deal with them. And they're going to go over some stuff that being different isn't bad and how to include certain students to do better things. We want to target people that are caring, that are compassionate, that have a real passion for students, not just anyone who wants a job. And we want to teach them how to connect logically with the kids and make them adapt to each other, like what I did with Ethan and Brian with Minecraft.
So what would be included in the course itself? So the course would train teachers and supervisors on how to engage with the kids and get on their level. And it will also show the teachers how to understand the kids and make their program suitable for them and inclusive.
So who's affected by this problem? So before the program would be implemented, the students or children affected by it are ones that are like struggling in social situations. They feel antisocial, they're really not getting along with people. And based on these feelings, it could lead to extremes in the future, like depression or acts of violence, because they're not getting those social situations that they need with other children. A lot of teachers and people, others that are supervising them, don't really know how to tackle this issue and help these students belong in the classroom. But once we implement this program, it will help the teachers be able to encourage them to get involved with the children and be able to get the children into the groups that they need and get the social interaction that they need.
Alright, so our plan of action to make it work. So, like you said, it's going to be a 5-day course, and we'll be dealing with small business supervisors, pretty much anyone that deals with kids, to help teach them. A lot of times it goes unrecognized, right? Teachers might recognize that there's a problem and they might know how to solve it, but they might not even know that there's a problem with children. A lot of children don't actually voice their opinions on it, so it's the teacher's job to actually go to the kid and try and deal with them, see how it works. As publicity grows, more and more people will hopefully take this course and expand it. At first, it'll be with small industries, like we said, cell-phone businesses, and then hopefully a citywide program. And as an end goal, we'll target a school board, moving up to maybe an actual course that is a prerequisite for Teachers College. And in terms of finance, running out of space potentially a school after hours to reduce the cost. So because it'll be like a non-profit type of organization, money is sponsored through donations, right? So it's good to make use of all of it. So most of the profits will actually go back into the business, try and make it as less expensive as possible. Money should be spent on paid teachers and advertising to get the word out there, so flyers, signs, social media, etc. And getting potential sponsors could be some of this one, so like universities, camps, school programs, etc.
Now, our references, I actually talked to my religion teacher because she's really well with working to make groups, and they had a program a lot like this in her university course, in her teacher's college. There was a guy who came in who wrote a book. They found him, they located him, and he taught them how to kind of like work with kids. And I tested out at my dojo, or at my work, and we actually ended up making a commercial. And here's the product. It focuses less on karate and more about community.
It's waking up in the morning, feeling hungry to better yourself. Giving it that extra push to train harder every day. Do better and to help others. This isn't just a dojo. We're a community who stay united. Treat our fans like brothers and sisters. Train in peace. It's more than just a sport. Karate is a way of life. We seek perfection of character. We live in harmony. It's not wanting to punch or harm someone. It's waking up in the morning feeling hungry.
Good job, guys.
First of all, I just want to say that I sometimes keep forgetting while I'm sitting here that I'm actually not listening to people pitching for money here, because we do this all the time, and I'm having a hard time thinking, is this pretend or is this real? You folks are really onto something, and I'm very proud to be here today. So I just wanted to say thank you on that. Listen, I love what you're trying to do. I think there's a better avenue for you, because my concern is really more about your business model. I would like to see if you would like an introduction to the Boys and Girls Club of Durham, because I think there's something that you can do there as a case study, and if it works there, then we can take it elsewhere. So my question is, would you like an introduction to the Boys and Girls Club of Durham on the business model side?
I would love to. That was actually one of my target programs, the Boys and Girls Club of Durham. I always see them out and working with kids, and I think they do it pretty well, but maybe not well enough.
And then you can offer this service if maybe they don't have it.
Exactly, yes.
Great job.
Tapping into an area that a lot of school boards and a lot of organizations are struggling with, because there are people being left behind, and there's implications for that, both in their academics and personal. And I wonder, is a way to deploy it, because I think a lot of teachers within school boards feel that they're overworked, that their time is very limited. Would there be an opportunity to do maybe a secondary type of course that would deal with the student government or the student leaders within the organization, so they could be ambassadors to bring it down to younger people within the school? Just wondering if you can look at sort of like a volunteer component as well as those that are doing it for certification for their professions. So you could do a bifurcated plan.
So you're suggesting students help other students?
Potentially, if you have, senior students helping elementary students, or different things within organizations, because I think a lot of people who are in the teaching profession love students, but they also have, the number of things they have to mark, the number of staff meetings they have to attend. So there might be a way that you can reach more people quickly if you look at that as a secondary strategy.
Well, that would be a good idea. For example, students that need community hours, they can maybe go into elementary schools and they could work with students, maybe helping them get to know each other, and just like a little game called Icebreakers. You've heard of that, right? Do stuff like that throughout the year to build a community within the classroom.
Absolutely. And for anyone who thinks that they want to be applying to Teachers College, to have their volunteer hours being very targeted to the type of things that they want to do. So they're learning the skills at an early age, putting it into their academic career, and then they go into their profession. So continue your values through different stages.
And I'm just going to echo what Jess said. I have 4 kids and I have a 7 up to 15-year-old, so I know that, and we've experienced bullying all the way through and stuff like that, and it's not easy from a parent's point of view because you're getting it second, third hand and many hours after. But for my older kids, to me, this would be a great program for them to do. So I think just expanding the window and the target audience to say, I mean, you got it, like the people in this room, this is something that you should all be taking, I think, anyways. But that, I would say expanding, just expanding the window of people that you're accessing. That would be it.